And then through the glory of editing.
Whose large sack is this?
Heyo.
Oh.
Let's get out of there. There we go. Okay.
Smooth, velvety.
What's funny is I doubt any of that actually really got picked up.
I think Scott did. I don't think Matt did.
There's the stinger, right?
On the smooth velvety stack. That's where the stinger is.
Just above the sack, actually.
All right, let's just do the other episode here, please.
Mythos Busters, investigating the mystery, monsters, and madness of Arkham Horror, the card game.
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Mythos Busters. God damn it, Nick. You had to, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
We're at Arkham Nights, and we are all together. This is Sean. Joining me are our brothers here. We've got Ian.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hi.
And Scott.
Barely.
And Justin.
Hello.
And Matt's in the corner, too.
Yo.
And boy, it's been an Arkham Nights.
That is what it has been.
Yeah, that is a true statement, factual.
So we're going to do this episode in a couple segments. We're going to kind of do our own personal wrap-up here, and then we're hopefully going to be able to get some of our listeners who are here at the event to go out and do a live recording recounting our Iron Man 2019 run, because boy, what a run it was. But before we get to that, so Arkham Nights, it's been exceptionally good this year, I find.
There has been a lot of Arkham played, like way more than last year, I feel like.
Like, we showed up and it was just into it.
Yeah.
Just straight into it.
No frills.
Friday felt like its own Iron Man.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of was.
Yeah.
It was a disorganized Iron Man.
But I have to say, so Friday we ran our Depths of Yoth challenge, and I personally took 2 runs.
Me too.
Still love that scenario. Like when we got
Yes.
to it for Iron Man, I was still like, yeah, Depths, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, we had trained for it.
Yes, we
Like,
had.
That was the one that we felt the most confident about.
But I suppose starting this thing off, God, what big things were announced? What news had we for Arkham this weekend? We
It was
got
pretty quiet.
Yeah. Well, there was that one scenario that got released.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, some new standalone or something. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about it.
You guys can't see it, but Nick is smiling smugly.
There's a certain person we should have talk about this, and that's Ian. Ian, what'd you think of Excelsior?
So it's on the
As he
line.
takes a drink, yeah.
Okay, Nick.
Yeah, Murder at the Excelsior Hotel released this weekend to Arkham Nights attendees only, correct? Yeah. So it'll be out for general release sometime later this year, hopefully.
And it's released to great reaction, I feel.
Yeah, I've received nothing but positive feedback on it so far, other than one card in the scenario. But I'm fine with that.
And you'll all find out what card that is soon enough.
No, it's very exciting to see people playing it, especially people who aren't like. As far as I know, I saw people who didn't even know what Mythos Busters were sitting down and playing this scenario, and that was really cool to do because it's like, oh yeah, people who don't even know me are doing this. So it's nice to like put a bookend on that whole project, like seeing it finally coming out. So.
One of my favorite parts of the weekend was when you got your copy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was waiting in line, and Nick got to walk up to the head of the line and get his copy, get the fruits of his labor, and he just busts around the corner, and it's like a kid in a candy store. I have not seen a smile that big and genuine in a long time.
All smiles.
I had to stop myself from like holding it triumphantly above my head and walking past the line of people who were waiting for it. And I felt bad too because I had to go like up to the people behind the counter and be like, I don't know if you can answer this question, but I designed this scenario. I don't know how or when or where I'm supposed to get a free one, but can I just grab that one? I'll show you my ID. That's my name. It's me. And they obliged. Luckily, so.
And flexing worked.
Yes.
Love it. So I think we're going to talk more in depth. We're going to actually interview Nick on the next full episode of Mythos Busters because I got to play Excelsior here, but someone else was setting it up and it was 4-player and, we were running up against the store closing, so I want to sit
rushing
down.
a little bit.
I want to sit down. I want to enjoy the flavor text. I want to take peeks at the art as you do in the comfort of your own home and time, and then we'll talk to you, more in depth on that one for the next episode.
Perfect.
The thing I want to talk about, probably focus on in this room right now,
Is sushi.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Just breathe, Ian. Just breathe.
Not where I was going, but I'm okay with the pivot. That's cool.
Ian got pregnant on sushi.
That is not inaccurate.
Little food baby. Just...
Yeah, so as is our custom now, I suppose it's only the second year we've done it, but we can call it a tradition. We went out for an all-you-can-eat sushi buffet on Thursday night to ring in Arkham Nights. And I left feeling rounder.
Yeah.
There was a lot of sushi consumed.
all you can eat sushi is very dangerous. Because you're like, oh, I can eat more, because it doesn't fill you up right at the beginning. And you're like, I can have 3
Yeah.
more
It has to
rolls.
settle down.
And then you get to the end, you're like, oh, that was a lot of fish.
Yeah.
See, the danger zone is between when you order the next round
Yep.
and the wait
Yeah.
for
Yep.
it, when it all settles.
Because the problem with rice is it grows with liquid.
Yeah.
God, what did we do after sushi? I wanted to do karaoke, but no one else was down. Also, I couldn't find karaoke.
I would say I heard it mentioned once, and that was it. So
I'm going to champion it harder next year. It's going to be a thing.
did we go back to the event center? Did we come back here?
Oh, and what did we do?
Oh, yeah!
Sorry, I thought you guys were going to pick up on my segue.
I couldn't tell if you were being serious or
I honestly
really
was like-
forgot.
So I'm actually really pumped to be able to talk about this because our position in being able to talk about it is a unique one.
Yes.
Because this was this very special invitational event that we were invited to
As it happens.
as it happens, by Matt and Matt's very good at being coy. It's just kind of his default state. But in particular,
It's his middle name, isn't it?
I think so. But in particular, he was very mysterious about this. So our assumption was like, oh, okay, are we getting pulled in for a play test? Are we going to need to sign NDAs? He's like, no, it's not a play test. But I'm not going to tell you anything about it. And we're going to whisk you back into a hidden room. I'm like, oh god, Matt's just going to kill us.
This is the year it happens.
Mythos Busters is mine now.
Never follow a designer to a second location.
The rule of life. But what it ended up being instead is a new special format for the game. Someone sum it up. It's the Dungeon Master format essentially.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, wait, that's
One
probably
big menu.
that's probably copyrighted. It's the Game Master format. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
the Keeper format. Was that? Yeah, okay. That was bandied about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat down and played a scenario.
Yeah.
The basic premise of which is one person actually has some decisions to be made and runs the encounter deck.
Yeah, with a hand of cards and resources and stuff like that, and secret cards that can be played and triggered later. And yeah, it was really intense. Really fun.
If you've tried the Lord of the Rings digital card game, it's not too unlike how Sauron operates, except it's an actual intelligent person making real choices and not an AI kind of.
And thus much more interesting.
Yes.
The keeper has resources, and that's the key thing. Because I remember at the point in the game, 3 cost cards get shuffled in into their deck, and they draw cards and they pay resources, and
and some cards have effects that vary based on the amount of resources paid and stuff like that. So,
and oh man, it put me on tilt a couple times, but as is my custom, as we walked away, I'm like, God, that was fun.
Yeah.
So we're not going to give any spoilers about the content of the scenario. And Matt, you can correct me if I misspeak here. At this point, this is not a format that is destined for retail. Right now, it's just a fun event that you are able to run and...
Should I hop over?
Yeah, come on over. Come sit in my lap.
Well, I figured I'd stand here so that you guys don't have to spread out too much.
Sure.
We're all squeezed around one table right
Yes.
now, with one mic in the middle of everyone.
We have but one mic.
we have 2 chairs and 6 people talking.
We're all better friends now.
Yeah, so the idea was I really wanted to kind of give back to the community and a lot of you guys like podcasters and YouTubers and people who create content for the game. So we wanted to create this special event that we knew we wouldn't be able to run too many of them because it takes several hours and only me and Jeremy can run it. So it would be by invitation, basically. Mm-hmm. But we also didn't want people to feel like they were, fear of missing out is a thing, right? So we weren't going to give away any prizes or anything to you guys. The prize is the experience of just
what a prize it was.
Yeah. So it's not a product. It's not like going to be sold or anything. So yeah.
But it's a thing that potentially other people might be able to experience.
Yes, yeah. So hopefully I would bring this to cons in the future, perhaps Gen Con, Arkham Nights next year, of course, that sort of thing, and have, invitees would be able to participate. Yeah.
I can literally hear the people bristling at the exclusivity right now. But it was really fun. So, again, not mechanical spoilers, but it added a really different flavor to the game because there was a way more like active play, counterplay to it. Mm-hmm. I think the one that almost made me flip the table was Ian was playing his never-ending flamethrower Mark deck. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So what was the sequence of events?
Flamethrower.
So the sequence was because I had certain weaknesses inserted into my deck. So initially, through the gate hit both my Venturers,
yes.
Which is like a key component. The Flamethrower is not never ending without Venturers. And then I got Dendromorphosis,
yes,
which took away my Flamethrower.
So you pulled Dendromorphosis, was about to ditch your Flamethrower. I'm playing Diana. Surprise, surprise. And I happen to be at your location, so I'm like, oh yeah, Dark Insight, baby, I'm gonna save your flamethrower. And then Matt's like, hold please. You've activated my trap card. I cancel that event. And I'm like, no, Ward of Protection. He's like, yeah, it's not a revelation. Calm down.
I canceled your cancel, and you couldn't cancel my cancel.
Yeah.
I got out Diana.
And then I got another Flamethrower out later, and then there were like 3 treachery attempts to discard it. Yeah. It was like a battling wills of that Flamethrower.
I was trying to get rid of that Flamethrower for a long time. And let me tell you, Diana is really good at countering my shenanigans.
I did my best. I'm only one man.
I know we're not getting into mechanical spoilers much, but one of my favorite parts was the fact that you sit down with your XP deck, and the keeper says, how many basic weaknesses do you need? And then they draw, so the group table, they count, like, if each person needs 4, let's say, you draw, was it 16 plus 1?
Well, no, it's the same number, yeah.
Okay.
So however many basic weaknesses everyone at the table has, I told them to remove the ones that they, randomly picked, and I drew that many, and then I looked at them, and then I doled them out as I want to see them doled out. So I gave you that through the case. Yeah,
exactly. And Dendromorphosis. Those are like 2 killers for Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a moment where I was actually getting Diana up and rolling because you were distracted trying to take someone else apart. And then Stubborn Detective hopped out, and I'm like, oh no, Newman!
What's your willpower?
It's low.
But yeah, so I suppose we can't talk a whole lot more about it without getting into spoilery territory, but I would say...
Be prepared for 3 final mistakes in the Explorer deck. 3. I spent my whole turn drawing final mistake from the Explorer deck. Oh,
it's a really
first, second, and final mistake.
Yeah.
It's a really cool remix of things you've seen, things that are reminiscent of things you've seen, but are more terrible.
It pulls influences from 4 different campaigns.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and feel free to talk about it if you want, because basically my plan is to change it up every time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, shit.
So even if you guys did fully spoil as much as you could remember off the top of your head, because I didn't allow photos or anything, it might not be the same.
I did take a lithograph. Is that okay?
Yes, great.
Took a rubbing of
So in that case, I will share one of my favorite moments of the the storied flamethrower, because finally I'm getting my flamethrower operational. It's doing its thing, and there's an enemy engaged with Mandy.
Played by
no,
Justin.
It was engaged with me.
Oh.
We were at the same location, though, me and Mandy. So then I was about to roast my enemy, and then Matt reveals the trap card, which instead resolves that against another investigator at your location. So Mark roasted Mandy, too. Yeah.
Ian and I are in a fight now.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is that when a player gets defeated, they just get a special treachery added to their threat area. And the keeper wins when all players have that treachery. So you keep playing, it heals your horror and damage, and you keep playing, you're a little hindered in some way.
Legit player elimination is not
Yeah, it would be impossible, I think, if you were 2 players and you started with 4 in this scenario.
Oh yeah, that, and also like I came and I invited you to this special thing, and
now I'm gonna
you in 30 minutes. That would not feel very good, I think. Yeah.
I have to point out I'm proud of Nick as we're talking about all these trap cards, and the first time you mentioned it, I don't think you realized you did it, but you twitched a little because you're still so anxious about them.
Oh my god! Yeah. Matt had 3 face-down cards for the majority of our game, and I'm like, I don't want, because the first time I played Rite of Seeking, and he just cancels it, and I'm like, well, now I'm out 5 resources, and I have no Rite of Seeking. So then I'm like, I don't know what to play, because he's just going to send it back, and even when he did reveal another one, he still had 3 face-down cards, and I'm like, oh my god, like.
It's definitely a little anxiety producing.
Yeah.
A little. I threw my hat on the floor and I swore at Matt multiple times.
That's fun. Well, I picked on you a little bit.
You shared the love, though. It sounded like Jeremy went balls out and just destroyed his team.
Because we weren't so there was 2 tables, right? And you guys played together. And then it was me and
Casey,
and then Cameron, who's Man from Lang.
Right, yep.
And Brandon from Optimal Play.
Yes.
Or Boragon. On the Discord, and Jeremy Zwern, like when I sat down, it's like, we're gonna be playing against Jeremy.
I was like,
Zwern.
I want Matt.
I was like, Matt, I'm sure you're an excellent player, but Jeremy Zwern has multiple world championships on multiple games. Like, this guy knows how to play card games. I'm like, we're fucked.
The thing is, it's like sitting down. I'm like, okay, so it's just Jeremy or Matt. I know Matt is gonna run this like a GM
to be a fun experience. Yeah.
Jeremy's just going to try to pick us apart because he is a competitive card. He did.
It sounded like he stacked himself up to like 16 resources. 20 resources.
And then one Mythos phase, he gave each of us a 3-cost card and flipped the scenario card to hard expert or whatever. Yeah. Like, and it was just like, and the gloves are off. It was just a backbreaker. And then he was, he really got to pick on Cameron, Man from Lang.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because there was a couple turns where like he gave him a treachery. It's like, I get to look at your hand and discard 1 card, and Cameron's like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then the next treachery he got was the keeper names a cost and has to discard all the cards. He named 2, and Cameron had to discard 5 of his 6 cards. So Jeremy just like looked at his hand and he's like, I'll take all of these. Thank you.
Wow.
But my favorite treachery that he gave me was the Peril and Hidden one. Like, it had the Carcosa art. And basically it says, like, at any point, the keeper can just decide to take over one of my actions and do whatever they want as me. And he's like thinking about it. And I'm looking at my hand. I'm like, oh my god, I have level 5 No Stone Unturned.
Oh boy.
Because I was playing Min.
Oh boy.
I have Amnesia in my deck. So yeah, like he could have just absolutely.
Did he ever pull the trigger on that one?
He did. He didn't. I got rid of No Stone Unturned. Like, I committed to a test. As soon as I saw that, I was like,
committed
nope.
No Stone 5.
Yeah, I was like,
to a test.
This needs to leave my hand as fast as possible because that is going to break me.
That's
like,
so funny.
And he gave me. I was playing the Cerebro Min where I give all the skills. He gave me Self-Centered as a weakness. Oh god! Oh, and they could shuffle in more basic weaknesses. That's another treachery.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Like that. Oh god!
And you don't see the ones they give you at the beginning, and you don't see the ones that get added later.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and Brandon, who was playing Tommy, Jeremy hands him his weaknesses. He's like, "Here's your basic weaknesses, and here's your permanent basic weaknesses." He gave him Double Indebted.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
And he's playing like a deck with like lots of
where you want to resource. You need money immediately. Yeah.
So his first couple turns were just like resource.
Yeah. Here's a resource. Yeah, the mind games were so fun. The another of my favorites is I'm trying to remember the exact, but the keeper picks a card from your deck, puts it face down, and offers it to you.
Oh yeah.
And you can either choose to draw it. So it could be a weakness, or it could be something cool. Or you can remove it from play. Same thing. You might be removing a weakness, or you might be removing something good from play. Yeah. So you kind of have to think about what the keeper is doing in all the mind games. It was a lot of fun.
And if you end up doing the thing that's beneficial to you, the keeper gets resources or card draw or something. So like I happened to draw the card he gave me, and it was a weakness. So because that was bad for me, he didn't get anything else out of it. But then I'm stuck with another weakness. And then for you chose to draw it, and he was hoping you were going to remove it.
Yeah, and it was that was how I got my second.
And it was your flamethrower, yeah. So,
but then the keeper got a resource off of that.
Yeah.
So
thanks for joining us.
Oh my god, it was a 1 minute. It's fine.
Since there is a short pause, I did have something else for you guys.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. It's been in the room the whole time, but I kind of lied to you guys and told you that I had to bring it here for some other reason. No, I actually had to bring it here because I'm giving it to you, and the viewers can't see it right now because it's an audio podcast, unfortunately.
It's a card!
What it is the... So when we do our card council, we print out a big version of the art piece for the card. And my council, we have this art piece for the card that ended up being Purifying Corruption. So we figured, let's give that to you guys, and you guys can give it away on the podcast. There's some competition for it.
I gotta
it's a
ship
really
that thing
sweet
now.
art piece. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that's okay for you guys to bring back.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure we can find
A
room
couple
for
of
it.
you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's yours. I'd get up and actually hand it to you like a big check, but we're all huddled around the microphone and no one can see it. So,
But behind that is the big check.
yes,
So
behind
thank
me
you,
is
Matt.
the quote.
awesome.
It's not a check though.
No, behind
Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
very
That
much.
is awesome.
No worries.
Awesome.
I suppose we can talk a little bit about the cards that came out of the card council.
Oh my god. Jesus. First level.
Nick has
4
opinions.
Well, no, not like it's surprising. Like, and Matt brought it up too, but that they explicitly synergize with each other,
Right.
And that was not planned.
Not planned
neither
at
group
all.
knew what the other group was doing.
Yep.
And we have our first level 4 survivor card, and then we have a level 4 neutral card.
Yep, they're both
Yeah.
level 4, which is interesting.
They're both blessed and cursed.
And like again, no coordination. I
Wow.
walked in, so my council ended first, and I went over to Jeremy's council across the street because they're in 2 different buildings to ensure that there's no coordination at all. And I wandered over and I looked at they had a big whiteboard with all of the text written on it, and I peeked my head in and I just said, "Oh my god, the card's explicitly combo." And then I walked away, and everyone at the table went, "What?" Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I got to look at those and was like, ooh, okay, I'm going to try these out. I was also glad that one of them wasn't a weakness because, more
After
player
2
card.
weaknesses in a row, yeah.
Yeah, we did it a little differently this time. So I kind of specifically commissioned the 2 art pieces in these 2 councils to be purposely vague or ambiguous about whether they're good or bad. So the theme for both of them is like nature versus mythos.
Okay.
And so it's unclear which is winning, right? So like, for example, the Purifying Corruption piece, there's like this black kind of corrupt sludge that's coming out of this fountain, but the water in the pool at the base of the fountain is very pure and crystalline, and it looks kind of like it's fighting back against the corruption. So it's not quite sure. Like, it could have been a weakness. I let them decide what do you want to do with it, and there were points where it was closed, where they were like, we're introducing a lot of risk into this card. At a certain point, maybe we should just make a weakness. So they ended up with a card that's kind of both. It's got like this duality to it. It could be inflicting harm on yourself to get something good, or it could be like canceling something at great cost.
Right.
And it kind of does both effects, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament to how good the art is that both groups ended up with something that was both blessed and cursed based on that without us having to really explain that.
Yeah. So Mateo players rejoice.
Well, except it's level 4.
Never mind.
But one's neutral.
Hey! You get half of the puzzle.
I mean, you're telling me you're going to let a 4-cost survivor card get through playtesting?
That's what yeah.
We'll see. But that's what the council wanted.
Yeah, I suppose.
He's going to drop it at 2, but make it exceptional.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, again, all of these are beta cards essentially now. So they're going into playtesting right now. I actually added them to the playtesters files like immediately, and we'll see what happens with them. As we know, they don't always turn out exactly the same way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Matt and FFGOP, I think, I know, gave us a few extra copies to give away. So for those of you who are not able to make it to Arkham Nights, you're going to have a chance to win some beta copies of those cards. So thanks again for that,
Yes.
too.
Of course. Yeah.
Thank you for supplying that stuff consistently. Like, at each Arkham Nights, it seems like we get stuff to give away. So that's
Well, I mean, you guys are doing us a service, so yeah.
That's-
Don't forget the extended art.
Yep.
Shortcut, yeah.
That was a good choice.
Oh God, that thing's sexy, and it's a card I'm glad to have more copies.
Yeah, it's a card that gets used all the time. So.
Sorry. Let's just think about short. Let's just pause and think about it.
I'm glad that we isolated that sound from Sean.
I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard.
No, it happens like every other episode.
Yeah. So, God, what else? What else have we to talk about?
Depths of Yoth?
Yeah. So our Scott, tell us about our specific swag for Depths of Yoth, because you were kind of the leader on that one.
Yeah. So the swag we decided to do was an exploration deck topper. So it's a plastic card, kind of like a thick credit card material, like the Daisy.
It's like an acrylic print.
Yeah. And so on one side it has this awesome art that we commissioned. It looks amazing. Says in like kind of Etzli ruin looking things, exploration deck. And the idea is you just put it on top of the exploration deck so you don't get it mixed up with the encounter deck, especially when the encounter deck gets low and you put it right next to each other and you're like, oh shoot, which one's which? And then on the other side, it has a list of, for each scenario in TFA, which treacheries are in the exploration deck. So it helps you with setup, and also helps, and like we used it multiple times, even in our Iron Man run, like just like, oh, what have we gone through? And then like just flip it over, and you can look at the treacheries and be like, okay, we did that one. Okay, it's just a final mistake, or ants left, or something like that. Nick's favorite. Ants! So everyone got those. Reception was good. People loved them.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
It turned out beautiful, and it really helps to like define the play space a little bit more. And although towards the end of Iron Man, there was a lot happening at the end of Iron Man, but there were a couple times when we explored from the encounter deck. So it's not foolproof. Like human error still exists, but
when you get on hour 11,
exactly,
may not stand up to Iron Man.
When you can't differentiate cards from your hand, you're just like, what am I doing?
What game are we playing? Why am I here?
That was like in Shattered, I think it was. There was a location with 3 clues.
Yeah.
And I kept putting 4, and you guys were like, "There's 3 clues. There's only 3."
And then you tried to put like 3 birds. Like, Ian, it's 3 clues.
34.
It was just, there was a mental break at that point.
I remember you just like, after you're like, oh, and you like stood up and just like put your hand through your hair, and I could just see your face. You're just like, oh, like you
eyes barely open.
You just have to wake up. You're like, oh, like shake your head. It was oh god, we were so exhausted.
Yeah, so we'll get to Iron Man stories in a little bit. But how low can you go? I think went really well. We had how many teams participate?
We had like 15 teams sign up, and then I think we had half of that actually record their scores or report their scores to us at the end. So it was pretty good for being something that we just threw together, not last minute, but didn't have a whole lot of prep time for it.
It was very decidedly casual.
Exactly, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And seeing like people getting excited for how many points they scored and who was at what was really cool too. We, the Mythos Busters, sadly scored the lowest.
So
the average was around 11 or 12 points. You get points for each depth, and then there's achievements that give you extra points and stuff like that. And we got 9 points.
We were the only team single digit.
Yeah. Sorry. And I think it's because we're the only team who took a supply. Like because we got to depth. What depth did we get to? 7, 8? And and then we took a supply, which was a -1, but then we did like 2 achievements, so we got those in there. But yeah, we were 9.
Yeah.
So go Mythos Busters.
Oh shoot! It was not how low can you go and score. It's the
Oh
damn it!
Golf rules.
Jokes on you guys.
I messed up.
We win.
But we had one team that when I checked, they had a recorded score of 17, and I was like, oh my god, like that's insane. And I assumed that one of the Busters recorded it, so I was like, that's awesome. So I tagged them, and I'm like, you guys scored the highest. And then they came and found me later, and they're like, we scored incorrectly. We thought you got points for every victory point, too. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't. And they're like, okay, so we actually got 11. I'm like, whoa, that changes things. So the highest was we had 2 different teams at 15. They both ended at depth 9. And then one of those we picked randomly to be our high-end winner. So, yeah.
And died at depth 9. They did not complete it, right? Like they completed 8.
Yes, they completed 8 and then, died at 9. So still pretty impressive considering we got to 7 and we tapped out.
And when, like, if... I have never actually gone that far in depths. Like when the agenda just starts like
spitting out cards.
All right, so here's 3 encounter cards every here's 4.
Each player draws an additional card for each doom on the agenda, and it's like, what the hell? Like, I think we did 1 round of that, and then we're like, we're just scooping. We're just done.
We're done. Yeah. We're not going any deeper.
Hence the 9.
Yeah. I think depth 9, maybe 10. I think depth 9 is kind of a natural maximum. Maybe depth 10.
Yeah. I don't think anybody made it past 9. Yeah. So.
Once you have to start making willpower 9 Bathophobia tests, you don't have much time left.
When that skull hit -6, we're like, those are 2 more auto fails. We're not getting past that.
Matt, what's your bet? Like, I assume you've played standalone depths, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, I never made it super far in my games, but in playtesting, I think the highest I saw in playtesting was 10.
Wow.
But that was...
Was that Jeremy's word?
I don't actually remember. I mean, that was a while ago at this point, so I don't remember who that was. But I'm pretty sure I remember someone saying that they got to 10. Like 210.
Yeah. And then promptly died.
Yeah. Probably. I don't see how you could get past that, yeah. So we should talk about who we played for our depths round.
Who'd you play, Ian?
After I asked the question now, I can't remember. Who did I play?
Skids.
Oh, Archer Skids, yeah.
That's right.
Nice.
That was probably my favorite Skids build that I played.
Yeah, with Venturer.
It's basically my refillable flamethrower package of Venturer and Emergency Quiche 3. Is it 3?
It's 3
that adds to Venturer, yeah. And just ported to Skids and his bow.
Yeah, nice. And I did Luke Robinson. I did a 49 experience build with Luke. And I had originally, I was playing around with Vermees and Knowledge is Power and Diana. So getting Knowledge is Power on Diana and then Vermeesing multiple times to get stuff from my discard pile. But that
Vermeesing, I don't appreciate your turning that into a word.
But that build, we did that for our first How Low Can You Go run that we stopped at depth 5, I think. Mm-hmm. And I kind of came to the conclusion, sadly, that it wasn't efficient enough. So then I ended up swapping that out and going a more standard Mystic build. But I love Luke. I feel like I've just scratched the surface of him, and I want to keep going. So,
the first time I ran it, I ran level 9 Patrice, just because I'm kind of in love right now, and just kind of had to do it. And then for our run, though, I tried a level 39 version of my Iron Man Diana deck, just because I wanted to see how it ran in that scenario, and it ran pretty well.
I did something similar. I did 29 XP Ursula, just to see, I was like, we'll probably be about this when we hit depths, and we did way well.
We were higher than that.
Yeah. And less weaknesses, and it was like, okay, this is, if this works the way it is now, with 3 weaknesses in the deck.
Yeah.
So. And
then, what else did we do Friday? I played Blob again.
Yeah.
Scott, you got to play Blob for the first time.
So Casey and I, we were both kind of I wanted to play Excelsior, straight up. I'm like, that's what I want to happen. Right, surprising everyone. And Casey was like, I've played Blob so many times, but everyone else wanted to play Blob, and I know Scott hadn't played it Epic Multiplayer. So Casey and I officiated...
At all.
Yeah, or at all, yeah. So Casey and I officiated a 12-player Blob game.
Because we tried to sign up, but there was overflow.
So many sign-ups, yeah.
Turns out people like the LCG.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Who knew?
So we did a 12-player Blob, and that was fun. And we did 2.5 hours as our time limit. And it's still, you guys finished with, 12 minutes to spare.
It was about 12 minutes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of it, Scott? You didn't really get to participate in the conversation when we talked about it initially.
I liked it. Yeah, it was fun. It seemed...
Any breakaway, experiences?
Oh, well, yeah. By the end of the second turn, the Blob had already devoured 10 of my cards and my cell phone.
And your cell phone.
So,
that's right.
The Scott ship posting commenced on Discord immediately.
The rest of us immediately went to our phones and was tagging Scott.
Answer now, otherwise you hate mother.
And I actually texted my wife, because my wife played with you guys at Gen Con. I was like, hey, just so you know, the Blob devoured my phone. I'll talk to you later. And just make it right.
It was very nice of you to let her know.
Yeah. She actually sent me a few messages, too. She's like, hey, got your phone back yet?
Yes.
Ooh, it's dark in the Blob's tummy. It was really interesting. It was really fun. The concept of the Blob devouring things. And that that tablet token. After this test ends, not if you fail.
It just the committed cards just get sucked up.
Yeah, that 2 tests in a row devoured 5 for me in the first turn because like I was doing some big like with upgraded deduction and stuff like that, and then I was finally like, okay, I've had enough of this, and I had Chthonian Stone. I was like, tablet, give me that tablet, give it to me, no more. So
slap the blob's wrist.
Yeah,
and then after that, we got to play, like I said, the blitzy version of Excelsior. Nick set that up for us, and it was me and Ian and Justin, and who was our fourth? Was it Casey? No, it wasn't Casey.
Aaron. No, Aaron. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Aaron. It was Aaron. Oh, yeah, it was Aaron.
Aaron with the dynamite.
Who, without asking, was just like, oh, yeah, I'll just going to throw dynamite into this room full of cops.
Just an explosion of badges and belts.
And that was, like I said, it was fast, and I really look forward to taking more time with it, but it was really fun.
Yeah. There's multiple things to unpack in that scenario, so yeah.
We were fighting the clock, though.
Yes.
That's true, yeah. I think we finished like a minute before closing.
Yeah, it was. It was at the last minute.
It's water. It's fine. Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
Sean just dumped like half a liter of water on his crotch.
No, it's on my knees.
Funny thing
and your phone.
Oh no!
The funny thing is that he made eye contact with all of us and then just upturned his cup. Like
a dead stare at one of us, slowly poured it,
maintaining eye contact the whole time.
I assert my dominance in creative ways. God damn it! It's cold. Okay, well. I suppose that's as good a place as any to wrap this up. Yes, thank you, Justin. So first, I want to take a second to thank Justin publicly, because behind the scenes, he's been our administrative mancer, making so much magic happen. Mm-hmm. And this particular bit of magic is very exciting and like has turned out way better than I had even dared to hope when we promised it. But our merch store is ready to go, and we're going to be officially rolling it out in the next little while. Hopefully, if you've been peeping our social media posts, you'll see us wearing some of our samples. I think in general, it's all come out really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So, I don't know. What else do we want to say about that?
Look forward to that.
There you go.
# soon.
And I suppose it's definitely worth doing again to give Titan social media another prop.
Yes.
So if you have any social media needs, Justin is, he's a wizard. So check out Titan social media. Highly recommended.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Happy to do it. Very happy to do it. So I'm going to toss it over to Future Us, who are going to be talking about Iron Man 2019.
Take it away, Sean.
Thanks, Ian. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll catch you next year.
Iron Man was a blast. Bye.
Iron Man.
Bye.
So should we start talking about our Iron Man experience? So this is Arkham Nights 2019.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Iron Man on Saturday.
Iron 62 participants.
62 participants. So we actually have to start. Yeah. This is important to me, though it probably is not as important to everyone else. We had, for the first time this year, a piece of Mythos Busters promotional material that was not initiated by Mythos Busters. Mm-hmm. The FFG Event Center actually found our logo, printed off, cordoned off tables for us, and like this... We earned some legitimacy this year.
Because we were like in the midst of a game of Excelsior the night before, and then when I turned around, I saw just tables with each one of these signs with our logo on it, and it was just such an amazing moment.
Everyone was so invested in finishing Excelsior before the place closed, like we were within minutes.
Yes,
that
we were focused.
It just seemed like the signs just kind of like lifted up out of the tables themselves. Like we didn't see anybody place them. So
and we had talked to FFG Organized Play.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name.
So big thanks to Jaffer. I'm sure he's not a listener, but I still want to throw that out there.
Yes. We said like, "Hey, where should we sit?" And he's like, "Oh, just outside the event space, like the the main area there, and we're like, oh, okay, like at least letting them know that we have a bunch of people.
Yeah, we had like just a verbal clear, and then all of a sudden there were signs. So big moment for us.
Yeah.
We also took up most of the gaming space in the event center.
The line from the Arkham Nights, like the Arkham Nights room, the line bisected our group.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which made it particularly fun when I had to scream over everyone to get it all started. It was like, the rest of you just have to be subjected to this, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But, so it was really, really good. I think the drawing of the weaknesses, our new opening ceremony,
Yes,
can we confirm that that's going to be a thing we do from now on?
sure.
I feel like
That's
that went
good.
really well. I kind of expected that there'd be a few people who either didn't know what we were doing, hadn't brought their weaknesses, or were just going to be like, I already picked my weaknesses, I don't want any part of this. But I'm pretty sure every team that participated...
Yeah, I think it was every
There was one person who said he was going to do his own weakness, and then he decided to draw when we came over with them. So.
Oh, it's the power of peer pressure.
And we had very few. So if they wanted to redraw, they could say loud and clear, "I am a coward and I reject my fate."
Yeah.
And they were allowed to redraw a weakness.
Yeah, and so we had one person pull Doom, which is... Doom was the reason that we decided to have that be a thing.
And overzealous.
And, well, yeah. I expected someone might have done overzealous, but, we wanted to make this a bit of a thing, a bit of a ceremony, but we also didn't want to cordon anyone into having a terrible time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had one person cry off for drawing Doom. We got through the entire rest of the 62 people playing. We get to drawing ours, and then Scott.
Yep, I drew the Peril Hidden, the one from Return to the Carcosa.
Bloodlust.
Bloodthirst.
Yeah, as
Bloodthirst.
Ursula, where I had to do damage. I was like,
Do excess damage.
yeah. So I yelled loud and clear, "I am a coward and I reject my fate." And a few people cheered. And then I got the other Carcosa one, where I had to evade an exhausted enemy. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
basically the same thing.
And in practice, you ended up just tanking that the whole time.
Yeah,
right?
I never.
I lost 8 XP to it over the campaign. I
Couldn't tell looking at the final deck.
I did, yeah, exactly. I ended up not upgrading my the glyphs.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, there's my 8 XP that I lost. I just didn't upgrade those. So.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, bro.
Yeah.
So you had that. I got your worst nightmare. Ian,
Which ended up being Sean's worst nightmare.
Which ended up being
dealt with it all the time.
He's like, I'm doing this for you. I'm like, I literally can't do it. Like, if I could, I would.
I'm just happy to be a part of your
And
team.
then Sean would ask Nick to do an action to help him out, and Nick would be like, oh.
And what did you have?
I'm grateful.
I drew Amnesia, which the night before we were talking about the weaknesses. I said the 2 weaknesses I don't want to see are Doomed, for obvious reasons, and Amnesia, mostly because of City of Archives.
Yeah.
Like, if you get to that ending part when you're trying to draw cards and you have Amnesia, it's basically game over. Yeah. So I thought for a second when I drew Amnesia about throwing it back, but I was like, I'm just going to roll with it.
One scenario,
yeah. And it didn't end up being too much of an issue. It did affect my play a lot, because I found myself playing my cards a lot more instead of saving them, because these just might be gone. And we'll get to City, but I ended up drawing Amnesia like early in that game, so I don't have to worry about it.
And I'm boring. I drew Paranoia.
Yeah.
It was fine. It only really affected me once. I just tried to run low.
I was surprised that we had like 4, I think, people in the 62 that drew through the gates, and 3 of them were in the first 5 people that drew weaknesses.
Yeah.
So.
My favorite part, though, was we had like within 4 teams, 3 different people draw self-centered.
Yeah.
And they cheered. It was like,
nailed it! It was like a happy moment.
Yay.
I mean, that's the one I wanted. So.
I wasn't going to help you anyways.
So yeah, and I think it was also I'm soft. So actually, in my real play, I'm the kind of person who like picks 2 weaknesses or draws 2, picks 1, just whatever I think would be more interesting.
Yep.
So it's very rare that I have that moment of anxiety that I'm reaching in and going, God, I hope it's not the one I don't want.
Well, the 3 of us, at least, I don't know if Scott felt the same way, but the 3 of us shared that we're nervous about this part, because this is not how we play the game.
What have we done?
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up working out really well. So then we got things rolling. So I guess for our part, our Iron Man story.
Untamed Wilds was Untamed Wilds. Like, there wasn't anything outstanding about that one. It was pretty much what we expected.
It happened. It wasn't rough. It was just...
Yeah.
Here, let me pull up my notes so I can remember exactly how things went here.
Okay. I was just going to jump right to Doom with the gates and the elusive.
Yeah, by all means.
Oh, yeah. So, Sean played Open Gates. Or Open Gate.
Turn 1 on the entryway, yeah.
And then we just blitzed as fast as we could to the temple. Like we didn't even get the one of the locations wasn't out.
And by we blitzed, he means that like all of us moved like 1 or 2 locations, and Ursula just shot forward like a fucking rocket. And just,
yellow Sonic.
Yeah,
gotta go fast. And so then we got the what you call it,
the relic.
And then Sean, you had another open gate, which we ended up getting placed like 2 locations from me, and I was like,
there's a secret passage and then the open gate.
And we didn't have enough actions to close it that turn with where I had to throw that gate.
Yeah.
And then in upkeep, I drew my 3rd gate, and I'm like, okay,
I mean,
map
you guys
changes now.
Yeah.
You guys didn't, but I elusived out, and I was
I know, you made it very clear to us that you didn't need my gate.
because everyone's like, oh, that gate, and I'm like, yeah, it helped you guys.
Yeah. Also, can you deal with my nightmare? And then we were able to get out of the temple, out of Doom with the relic before the Harbinger spawned.
Yes.
That was the first for me.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotta go fast.
I was confused. I was like, I'm not even sure, like, does this affect the campaign log? Like, do we just not record the Harbinger now?
It's never happened.
Nope, still put it in there. And then we did Threads of Fate, and Threads was... And, like, I made this comparison while we were playing. It was struggling to, like, tread water the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, and then we ended up advancing the wrong act at one point and playing almost a full turn. And then we're like, wait a minute, this is wrong.
Yeah.
This is wrong. What is this?
Hang on.
So we had to rewind and...
And Threads was actually one that was not really on my radar to be worried about at all.
Right, yeah.
It was
But-
surprisingly tough.
I forgot how much the ability to combo matters for cultist scenarios.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think the slowing down part more than anything wasn't even the cultist, it was the parlay test on especially Harlan.
Well, yeah.
Because it was like a will 4, and I remember we kept having trouble getting someone with high enough will to...
Yeah, Diana.
Because
Hey,
Diana was busy with enemies, which would...
I was busy with enemies, and I ended
Nick's
up...
nightmare.
And Nick's nightmare. Among
It
those
wasn't
enemies.
every scenario. There was one scenario where I didn't draw it.
Yeah. So we managed to get through 2 of them, and we had 1 more to go. And I think it was Witching Hour. It was like the last turn.
It was pretty close.
Yeah.
So we had the Hunting
It wasn't
Night
Witching Hour, but we drew a cultist.
Yeah.
So we had the Hunting Night Gaunt was the last thing we needed to
Beefy
kill
boy.
to get out, and he had 12 health.
Swole Night
Yeah.
Gaunt.
So fortunately, Rita was able to pull off a waylay to take out 12 health. Because I was like, hey guys, is that elite? No? Okay. Everyone knew it was coming. But that was actually a late add to my deck, adding waylay, and I was thinking,
And it was a good one.
few non-elites in there.
Yep, so we 7XP'd that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that one was fun. That one took us the longest because we got a little ambitious with it.
Yeah.
And because we had to rewind and fix some errors.
Didn't help.
And then Boundary was the first one that we were all concerned about. And we were like, if we get 2 or 3 paths, like 3 is the goal.
3.
Yeah.
And if we get 3, then we're just good. And then we ended up getting, did we get 5 and then
got
1
4.
flip back?
No, we got 4, and then...
We were like 1 clue away from
it was just really
and then we got
close.
the one where you could either shuffle 1 back or put a Doom and it can advance the agenda.
Yeah,
Right,
so
then we-
Unfortunately, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Because we would have had 5 that next turn.
Right.
Yeah.
For a little bit, we were thinking we were going to get 6, and every time someone was about to mention it, like, don't say it! It's going to hear
Stop
you!
it!
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're scared.
But that's...
Scare it away.
I felt like we had a good handle on Bounds Beyond.
Yes.
Like, we controlled the pace of that scenario. It didn't control us.
Yeah, we were on top of it.
And Boundary Beyond felt like we were protecting like a house of cards from that was ready to topple at any minute.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was stressful, but we did handle that one. And then it was on to everybody's favorite, Heart of the Elders,
Part A.
Part A.
Going in with 4 paths helps.
Yep. It did. And that was when I realized that we were basically playing Finn's Angels, because it was Finn and then 3
That was
women.
in part 2. That was in part 2.
No, it was part 1
Was
because
part 1, yeah.
because that was when it was Finn and then 3 women who were doing the work. And I was just stuck at the entrance location. There were 3 enemies between me and them.
sitting
I
in
had
the
no
mouth of
tools.
the cave in the rain,
I had no
just-
tools to evade them all and then proceed. Like I would evade them and then be stuck there. So I was like, I'll just watch you guys do all the work from here.
Sit and draw.
Yeah. Oh, it was so bad. But you guys did obviously an amazing job.
Yeah.
So
Everyone had, like, I find every time we do this, everyone's got that scenario where you just get fucked.
yeah, mine was part A. Yours was part B.
Mine was Part B, yeah.
Mine was Threads when we needed someone for willpower, and I'm like, I can't keep cards underneath me.
And you turn 1 open gate and then never saw another one the rest of the scenario.
Like, guys, this will be clutch. We'll connect crossways, and The lonely open gate to nowhere just sat there the entire
I feel like
scenario.
mine was shattered because I couldn't find my Bo or Peter Sylvester for a good 5 turns.
You had a couple scenarios where Bo was a little elusive.
That's the biggest problem with that deck is the Bo. But the nice thing about Rita is she can still do things thanks to the evade and the
Yeah,
Bo.
she can still run away. Yeah.
So Heart of the Elders Part B was the only time in the entire campaign as Ursula that I played Jake. Because
Taking us all by surprise.
And he had just recently gotten poisoned, so our headcanon is that it was a fever dream. Jake doesn't exist.
There is no Jake.
We turn over and Ursula's just crying for this person we don't know.
And we're like, who's she talking to?
And I couldn't draw an asset to save my life. Like I had no magnifying glass, no fingerprint kits, no Milan, no
none of the
Pathfinder,
tools,
fieldwork, nothing. It was just events and skills
and Jake.
and Jake. It's like I did very little that scenario.
Yep.
Until like halfway through, then Milan showed up. I'm like, okay, now I can kind of do some stuff. I got some more assets, and then
That was the first time
That
I
was
was
when Vin really
actually
picked it up.
able to flex my clue muscles that I had been just sitting on the rest of the game. Like, oh, I guess Ursula's just hoovering everything before I can get to him. That's fine. But this one I was able to get them all, so...
It's kind of an interesting dimension of multiplayer where you just kind of have those things where, like, I brought this to do a thing,
Yeah.
and it kind of hurts me a little bit, but the actual play maybe is just we all take everything off Ursula, and she just does Ursula things.
And then from Heart B, we went to
City.
which that one ended up being the real nail biter.
That was the stressful game when everyone was a little quieter and just
Yeah.
trying to contain their stress.
Yeah.
and it wasn't going well at the beginning either.
No, the auto fail and the -5 were all up in our faces.
I drew my Hood's first upkeep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where anyone was set up to do anything.
Luckily, I got my cats pretty early because I flared. Flare, I was in my upgrade path originally. I was like, what am I doing? Like, cat is one copy.
Yeah.
So I was able to... That was my original plan for City, is to bring the cats in, because... Yeah.
And I remember early in the game pitching my items to test because that's all I had in my hand. And then, like, once the agenda flipped, I'm like, all my items are in my discard pile now, and I don't have anything to play.
Yeah.
It was not fun.
Yeah, when you got to search the top 9 to look for 2 items, I whiffed completely. I didn't get a single item. But I was also already at like 7 cards in hand.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I had 3 items in my hands. I'm like, I'm fine.
And you also had Milan out at that point.
I got
Right,
Milan
yeah.
starting turn, which helped a lot with Milan higher ed in City is pretty good.
Yeah.
So we spun wheels for the first agenda and a half, maybe
Yes.
almost the
Yeah.
first
It
2
was a long
agendas.
time.
Yeah.
And then finally we got some momentum going, and it came down to we were 2 doom away from dooming out, and the math was real tight.
Yep.
And then as Scott was drawing up to try to get to 10, one of those cards was a weakness, and we're like, oh god, check the math again!
Yeah. But I had the caretaker.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I was able to draw a card.
Custodian.
Custodian, sorry.
Yes.
And but I remember like we were kind of spinning our wheels, and it was late in the second agenda, and I remember just like staring at the board because I've played City a lot, and I feel like
There was a moment where Scott became that meme of like the math equations just
I thought he was falling asleep. Like, I thought he was getting tired. I'm like, are you okay? You're like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm like, oh, okay.
like I sat there for 5 minutes. I'm just like,
Just
what
staring.
do we need to do? And I'm like looking at my phone because I had the document on there.
he has
that
a
I'd written
priority
out.
list.
Yeah, priority list. Who needs to go where with what test and to get what clues and
Yeah.
stuff. I was like, and I just remember being like, okay, guys, this is what we got to do.
Yep, he
And-
snaps out of it,
Yep.
takes a breath, and here we go.
Yeah, and it worked out.
And that city was a lot like Threads, where we had multiple things that had to be done, and we either weren't positioned or weren't set up for the people who would normally handle those to handle those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all definitely out of our wheelhouse a little
Yeah.
bit.
So, but luckily we got the 5, and then we moved on to Depths, which was a well-oiled machine thanks to all the practice we put in on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, I think we knocked that out in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, because we were also getting time pressured at that point, so
Yeah.
like we gotta blitz this thing.
Yeah.
We had like 2 hours and
Yeah.
15 minutes left to do 3
That was,
scenarios.
Yeah, that was less than an hour run on that.
And
one.
that's one of the first game before Shattered Aeons where I got what I call 7 action Ursula set up. So I have Ursula who has her bonus action, and then I had 2 Pathfinders and the Expedition Journal. And so there'd be times I'd like move, investigate, explore. I'm like, okay, I haven't used an action yet. And Nick would just like I just saw him like shake his head, and I'm like,
it's like, all right, and
action 1.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my god!
I've already gotten like 3 clues, and
here I am trying to get an enemy so I can use my 4th action, and he's like, I'm on action 9.
Like, this is the time for my bathroom break.
I feel like everyone else was like climbing down through depths, and Ursula kind of just like
she found a hole.
She's just repelling past it.
Yeah.
Just like, see at the bottom, guys. Whee!
Yeah. Actually, depths might have been my worst because I had 2 bad moments. One was the agenda flip, which someone has to test to avoid a physical trauma.
Right.
Yeah. And we picked me because it's agility and Rita.
And you were 5 up.
Yeah, I was way up. Plus, I had 2
was.
luckies in hand. Like, there's no way to fail it except for the tentacle. But Sean was like, I'll premonition it for you.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
And it's a tentacle on the premonition.
And
that's a trauma that's happening. I already had 2 physical trauma from blanket, so that was number 3.
And thus it was the last time that I will ever draw someone else's token, even if it's my premonition.
And then I was trying to evade the Harbinger. Again, up by 5 tentacle on that.
Was that the one you stroke of luck?
Actually, it was stroke of luck.
Right.
You tentacled on a stroke of luck.
Oh, it's so rough.
I threw my tentacle token.
Sean at one point whipped his across the room for like a good 15 feet. I think between the group of us, we drew like 6 tentacles over 2 turns.
And like 4
Shattered
-5s.
No, Shattered. Was it Shattered or was it City? When we drew the -5s like 5 times in a row.
It was like
and then we're like bad talking the -5, and then we draw the tentacle like 3 times. I'm like, oh no, it told on us. It went and cried to Daddy Tentacle.
And then Daddy, who's messing with my boy?
Who are you? Never talk to me or my son again.
Except when I come out of the bag repeatedly to screw you over.
And then we went into Shattered Aeons.
Oh boy, that was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, oh my god, like it started off fine, and then we got to the point where Formless spawns into the Nexus, but we're already in pocket of time.
Yeah, I feel like the first half of that was, or the first third of it was like, damn, we're on.
That's great. And we're like, do we ever have to go back there? Like, it's just kind of sitting there. That's fine. And all of a sudden, cultist, mysterious chanting. We're like, oh, fuck.
Wizard of the Order. We're like, oh shit.
Get back there. So then it was constantly...
Went from 3 Doom to Witching Hour real quick.
Yeah, and it was constantly sending Rita and Finn back to evade the Formless spawn so that Ursula could go in and get clues, or so that someone could go in and kill the cultists. And
I played 5 Wards of Protection off of Diana. I played Deny 5 at least 3 times. I'm pretty sure I took 12 damage in that scenario. I just managed to back out of it every time.
Yeah, because the part of that scenario I completely forgot is how it pings you with horror, like each time you bounce in and out.
Yeah,
which is kind of an important detail to figure out.
It turns out you can't take a lot of that.
Yeah, so I had to do it a few times to take out cultists.
I did get the upgraded shortcut on the Nexus, which helped us out a lot. I was like, it'll be okay, but it actually enabled us to do a lot.
It helped us out more in the second half of that scenario when we had to go in and get cultists and everything. Yeah. So, like, I thought it would be the first half, but nope. Like, oh, wow. And then I'm pretty sure that came down to literally last Doom, right?
It was close.
It was close, but then Sean had to test willpower or something, and it was like, if you succeeded these ones, and you used Blood Pact.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, because we were so close anyway.
Yeah.
That was... I think it was the second agenda when we got hosed with like 5 or 6 Doom out. Yeah. That was when I was like, did we make a mistake going the shotgun around? Because almost like exactly what we talked about is happening. But
about halfway through,
turn it around.
About halfway through, I was seriously in my head like, okay, how are we going to spin this loss when we talk about it and make it sound like it wasn't our fault?
Yeah.
But somehow we pulled it out.
Yeah, that was so. And near the end, like when we were putting the locations on the relic. Because we went and cleared all of the locations of like the 5 that we needed.
Yeah.
And then I played the
Which
relic.
was very smart.
Yeah.
Like, very smart.
It was all in one round.
Yep.
Mended them all
we got 5 of them in like 7 actions.
Alejandro never did anything. He popped in and just
Hey, there they are.
Guess that's over.
Did we kill him? Like I don't even. I remember him hitting table, and then I never saw him again.
He was there with me. I would have evaded.
It's because Rita was just running circles around.
Because he only spawns when you put the relic in, and we put the relic in
at the last
he shows
possible
up,
moment,
and then it's just like using Pathfinder and all 7 action Ursula.
Well, you got to go fast, otherwise those other locations get clues put back.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And so. Yeah, and I was taking tests I had no business taking. Like, there was a couple of those, 1 or 2, where I was only like 2 up, and that bag is fierce.
Yeah.
And I was like...
And with 3 cultists that make you draw more tokens,
it's
like,
oh, and that was that location?
When you were in Moo.
Yeah, and I drew cultist, elder thing, And like +1. Every time you bring up,
it was such a ride.
I was like, but I was 9 up on that test because I'm like, this could go badly, and I was like, okay, I can't draw another. Yeah. Okay, I can't. Holy crap! I'm drawing 4 tokens.
This was definitely a different experience than both of the previous Iron Mans because Dunwich was a time stretch or a time crunch, but it wasn't like. We weren't ever at a point where we were like hurting for what to do. Yeah. And then Carcosa was like literally once we finished Unspeakable Oath, it was just downhill the rest of that campaign. And this one was stress and then a little bit of relief and then a lot more stress and a little bit of relief and then it was like an EKG meter. And it was nuts.
But we pulled it up.
But we did. So go us.
Go us. Yay. It was really fun to walk around because we take like little walk around breaks and get food and whatnot, and walking around looking at the other tables and seeing, who was playing who and where everyone was. And there was a lot of Luke.
Yeah.
Luke did things this Iron Man.
He's good. Quite a few Ritas, Finns.
Finns were there.
Agility, Ursula's agility characters.
I saw a fair few Wendy's too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we were rushing to finish by before 10:30 so we could get over to Joe Sensors. And then after as we're packing up, we talk to groups and they're like, oh yeah, we just finished turn back time 15 minutes ago. And we're like, what the hell? How many players? 1? No, 4. Oh my God. So we definitely were not optimally handling our actions.
We also started later because we were
that's true too.
So we're joined by several Iron Man participants in the room here. Anyone have any harrowing stories they want to come share?
Come on up.
Come sit and share. Story time.
We were playing on hard because we're crazy.
We were playing on hard. We were wondering if there was a hard team.
It was Ursula, Father Mateo, and Safina.
Yep.
I was keeping track of. I built a Mateo deck that took advantage of his auto path.
Right. Sure. All the Elder Signs and all the tentacles.
Yes. Yeah. So I was keeping track of it. We made it to. We got turned into Yithians first of all. We went insane.
Yeah, because did we doom out or were we defeated in City of Archives?
We were defeated.
We were defeated by damage 4 or something.
Yeah.
Well, I got.
No, we made it to the end.
20 minutes in.
Yeah. But either way, we went insane as Yithians.
Right.
As you do.
And I think part of that is that we were just totally gassed because we had to go into Heart of the Elders Part A 4 times. Because we only got 2 paths in Boundary Beyond because we lost Mateo 10 minutes in.
Mateo went in. He had 2 physical.
And he drew the surge.
And it was
twice,
poison.
Got a bunch of damage.
Next thing you know, Mateo's round 2, okay.
But 2 of us were able to get 2 pillars. But
which
then
is
Heart
insane,
of the Elders was get 2 pillars, get 1 pillar, and then the third one,
we got
too
many enemies.
3 enemies, 2 basilisks, and we were just let's get out of here. But it was fun. I had fun because I was playing Ursula and I got Charon's Obel after the first one because I was I had a Mandy deck as a backup who I haven't played, and I'm like, if she dies, I'll just play Mandy. That'll be fun. And I didn't die. I didn't die, and I was sure that once we were doing the Heart of the Elders thing, I'm like, I'm gonna die one of these times going in. If I die, I'm killed. And no, somehow we made it all the way.
The Mateo build was good. I recorded the successes, 17 successes throughout.
Yeah, on the day.
What was that? The fifth?
Through Eucatastrophe. What's the
his signature?
The Elder Sign skill.
Seal of the Elder Sign.
Yeah. And just Olive doing Olive things. Pull 3 tokens.
And then
Elder Sign.
The seal.
You're right. It's Mark of the Elder? No, what is it?
Seal of the Elder Sign is the skill.
Seal,
right.
And then
Now it almost seems as though you're insinuating that Mateo is playable.
Yes.
He's playable in that build, but you need the XP.
It's that new card, Eucatastrophe.
Yeah, Eucatastrophe.
Serious work all day. The ultimate play, right?
Oh, no. Well, let's...
Yeah.
So you start with this 5 XP. You take 1 Eucatastrophe, 1...
Recall the Future.
The Future.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that, you're basically getting an auto success with Eucatastrophe.
Yep.
Recall the Future, you can basically, with Premonition, you're just okay.
Oh yeah, that combo's cool.
Yeah, what is my Premonition? Okay,
I don't care. Call that token.
Right.
Yep.
I also drew the one where you could draw 5, Dark Prophecy.
Yeah.
You're Skull, and you're okay, great.
Yep.
But the key play was I had a Stubborn Detective on me. So, as a Yithian, so I'm blank.
Right.
I have
okay.
Right. Exactly. Very weird.
So it's even worse, right?
Oh, yeah, that would suck.
I have a Eucatastrophe in my hand.
To recall the future.
To recall the future. I have a shriveling. So I go to shrivel, I miss, I play Eucatastrophe. Oh, I call Eucatastrophe with the...
You call Elder Sign.
Oh, yeah, Elder Sign.
Call the Future.
With the Call the Future. Played Eucatastrophe. Oh, no, I went to go play Eucatastrophe, but I drew the Elder Sign.
And you got +4 from your recalls on the Elder Sign and just passed normally. Because the Elder Sign doesn't do anything when you're blank.
And then I had to do
that. Like broke my brain. We were so like 4 or 5 hours in.
But then I did it 2 more times because one time I went to go play Eucatastrophe and I called my Elder Sign, but I failed because I drew like a +1.
Right, yeah.
So like, what? I'm not at 0?
Yeah, there's one test we go into. It's like, okay, we don't want the 0, we don't want the +1. Yeah. Let's go. And it was like
anything but those.
And then I played it again, and calling your Elder Sign with Eucatastrophe, so stupid.
Pretty good. More fun on hard than I thought I would have. It was fun. Yeah.
My brain melted. I felt like a Yithian.
Still recovering.
Did you guys like the playmat?
Oh, so I got a playmat. I got a playmat. It was perfect. Yeah. Like we returned into Yithian.
Yeah, it was kind of fitting. Where our story ends in City of Archives, and we can remember that.
Yeah, we kind of hoped a few people would have that experience.
Oh yeah. It was fun.
It was good. It was definitely. Yeah. Definitely do this again.
Would recommend.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for sharing, chat. Oh, you didn't get to play, did you?
I had to go to a wedding.
Wedding? Boo!
You could have skipped.
Yeah, no. I was gone Friday night, and I was gone Saturday.
Yeah, I've gone both nights, goodness. Well, it happens.
Yeah.
God, what have we yet to talk about for Arkham Nights? We talked about a fair bit with Matt. Joe Sensors.
Oh yeah, Joe Sensors was
good.
That was just a big social hour.
Yep.
And social 3 hours.
Yep. We actually put as many people in that room as we said we would as opposed to the first year.
So how many? Should we plan for like 60? Sure, and then there's like 10.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't have been so bad, but the problem was that first year we overestimated how many people would show up. The restaurant actually went out of their way to like have individual cups of
glasses of water
ready to go.
And it's like, guys, drink water. Drink like 4 glasses of water,
just take cups, please.
And 2 waitresses that were like assigned to this room. Because when I used to do the Conquest podcast, we would. Like, there was one year where we, there's so many Conquest players, like, they were turning people away, like, hey, you're hitting, like, the fire limit. Like, like it's not safe to have this many people. So it's like, oh, yeah, we'll do Mythos Busters thing. It'll be the exact same thing. And nope, just, 13 people, I think was our final count, and I said 70. And,
70!
That's not close.
So,
oh my god.
So then this year, I was like, I was going off Iron Man numbers, and at the time we were at about 40 players. I was like, 40.
Yeah.
And I think we were about 40.
We were about 40. It felt like it. Yeah, it was pretty crowded in there.
Yeah, it was good, yep.
A lot of fun, though. Saw a lot of magic tricks.
Oh, yeah.
From Briscoe.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel Briscoe.
Man, he blew my mind multiple times. He's really good at magic.
Yeah.
And like card magic, not the card game.
Yeah, like actual magic.
52 card deck, pick a card, that stuff.
Yeah.
Our running meme. Every year, there's always a recurring joke.
So what was Dunwich?
And it's usually just us screaming something.
Was Mark Protect, but also attack.
Mark Protect, but also attack.
Can you Protect and also attack this guy?
I attack and Protect.
Yeah.
And last year with Carcosa was the guard dog.
Yeah.
Just like, which I think we did. I mean, that's been on the podcast multiple times at this point.
And then this year was the Jim Carrey.
The Jim Carrey
It came out of low on provisions, right?
Which was in Depths of Youth because we drew it like 6 or 7 times, and every time it was drawn, we go, all right, everybody loses 2 resources, and there'd be one person. Well, there'd always be one person out of the 4 of us. I'd be like, ah, and so then it just turned into.
It turned into the Jim Carrey meme when he gets like
the arrow in both legs.
Basically, anything went slightly wrong, everyone would just scream.
Yeah, there was a lot of screaming from our table. Unnecessary screaming.
As is our wont.
That's the Mythos Busters way.
But good Arkham Nights this year, lads.
That was a great Arkham Nights.
Better every year, I think.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that the LCG has kind of taken over this event. Like, there are definitely other games being played here.
Sure. Are there other games being played?
Maybe. I wanted to just give it to them.
I walked into the Arkham room at one point, and I saw Elder Sign and One Mansion's game, and I was like, that's cool. And I kind of looked around, and I was like, I don't see anything else other than Blob, really. So.
Yeah. So I was hearing stories about the costume event, and like there were people who were really creative and had like these jokes, and like someone came as a chaos bag, and like all of it was based on the LCG.
Yeah.
And not so much on the board games.
What was the one that guy guy who dressed up as Milan and said, "I'm pre-taboo." So
Yeah,
I'll make it rain, and he threw money in the air or something.
Yeah.
Is it you?
No, James.
Oh,
Yep.
That's amazing. I didn't see it, but like Matt came over
Matt
and told us about it.
Yeah.
So you are legend status now.
All right. Well, God, it feels like we're wasting time with us all being in the same spot, but
I think we should go play something really fun. Not Hotel, not Excelsior, but something good. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go play Excelsior.
Yay!
All right, well, I suppose it bears thanking everyone who came out to Iron Man.
Yes.
Big thanks again to Josh, or DeLarp guy, for taking the brunt of coordinating all of that. We really appreciate you. And as I said at the event, he's now been promoted to High Priest and Next of Kin Notifier. And God, just
big thank you to our patrons.
Yes.
For making the playmat possible, making all the extra stuff that we've done this year possible. And then to the venue.
Yeah, and thanks to FFG and
whoever made those signs for us.
And to Matt and Jaffer. Oh, and as you heard on the previous segment, we actually got a really cool little bit of individual swag that we're going to have to think real hard about how we give away.
On that.
I'm looking forward to shipping that thing out.
All right, so get starting on planning TCU?
Yep.
Spreadsheet's ready.
Spreadsheet is laying there, open and ready for information.
It's empty right now, but it will be.
Yeah, I actually have to get through. I've only played through TCU twice now. I gotta get some more reps in.
I haven't played it as a full campaign. I've only played the last two on standalone. So I'm going to have to get that in a couple times in order to feel prepped. But we got a year.
Well, and next week should calm down a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Next week will be less busy.
We've only said that every week.
That happens.
I need that on a shirt.
All right. Well, it was great to see everyone for Arkham Nights. Thanks for everyone who came and said hi and participated in our shit. It makes it a lot of fun and satisfying to do.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys for 2020. Woo!
Now delete that.
Yeah. Just click the little X in the corner.
Oh shit, we weren't recording!